Good evening. I'm William Ferguson. This is Common Sense. And I am so sick and tired of the people of this country and the leader of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the minority of the Senate, Chuck Schumer. You make me sick. My intro this time is the flag raising on Mount Suribachi on the island of Iwo Jima. Those are my brothers, my fellow Marines that fought and died in wars to keep this country free. And now the people of this country are abusing their freedoms beyond belief. And it's not just now that it's going on. Let me play you something from an actor. Yeah, an actor.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better rev than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material complications. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. He said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
So what does it take to get it through your heads? War? I think this country's had enough of war. Even though we do still have an enemy. Who is the enemy? It's the liberals. The ones that want to turn this country into a socialist nation. That's not what this nation is about. Let's listen to this.
Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us. All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers. They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple. If you and I have the courage to tell our elected officials that we want our national policy based on what we know in our hearts is morally right.
If you don't know who that is, that's Ronald Reagan. One of the greatest presidents this country has seen. And you know what? The media hated him just as much, if not worse, than they hate President Trump. President Trump is trying to do what President Reagan was trying to do. Keep this country safe. Keep this country prospering. Keep out socialism. And he's right. We, the people, we are the ones that must fight. And we must tell the people in Washington, D.C. what we feel in our hearts is moral. What we need. The wall on the southern border is just part of it. Playing politics like Pelosi and Schumer and the rest of the Democrats in D.C. are doing, that's not what we want. We want people that will move this country forward. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She thinks the answer is socialism. Let's look at this. She supposedly has a degree in finance. Okay, what gumball machine did she get her degree out of? Socialism doesn't work, won't work, never will work. We don't want it. And the reason being, in a socialist society, one takes the money and then disperses it. What's the problem with that? The one that takes the money. Because now you have one person that has all the money. Are they really going to disperse it? Are they going to say, ooh, health care for everybody? But wait a second. You're too ill. It's going to cost too much to save your life and get you to live for another, say, 10, 15 years. So die. That's what Reagan was against. That's what President Trump is against. That's what I am against. I am a United States Marine. When I see the flag raising on Mount Suribachi on the island of Iwo Jima, I feel Marine. There are people that I listen to. One person that I listen to, his name is Doug Ducote, and he has his own YouTube channel. He speaks the truth. Just as Fox speaks the truth. And it's us. It seems like it's the military people of this country that are still fighting. We took an oath, just like the people in Washington took the oath, to protect and defend the Constitution. They are doing neither. They are trying to destroy the Constitution and this country. If you're up to date on your news, you know that Roger Stone's house was basically raided by the FBI this morning at around 6:15. Roger Stone is 66 years old. He has no money. He's been defending himself from the allegations of this false witch hunt going on by the Mueller team. And why? CNN was there. Why was CNN there? Propaganda. To show the people, hey, be scared. Be afraid. We control what we control. And we will control you. No, you won't. Over my dead body are you going to control me? The only one that I allow to control me is God, the Creator, the one that made all of this, the whole world and everything in it. And he gave us a choice. Be free or be a slave. Are you a slave? The slaves of this world worship evil. Their master is evil. Satan whispers in their ear, and they listen. Just like the entertainers listen to the fake news and the liberals telling them socialism is good. These entertainers don't have a clue as to what's actually going on. I'd like to drag any one of them through my head for an hour. See if you can handle the things that I've seen in my life. Have you ever seen a woman wailing over her dead husband in the middle of a dirt road? Children running around screaming and crying because the nationalist guerrillas came out of the hill and tore up the little town? Have you ever seen that? Do you know what war looks like? Do you know what we're fighting for? You know, the blacks in this country, they want to have a hissy fit about, oh, we were slaves. You were not slaves. Your ancestors were slaves. And guess what? The people of this country didn't want slavery, so we went to war and fought for your freedom too. This isn't a country of slavery, enslaving whoever, socialism. This is a country of freedom. And as Ronald Reagan said, do we want to spend our senior years telling the people around us what it was like to be free when there were so many that fought and died for our freedom? Is that what we want? It's hideous what the people in D.C. are doing. They don't understand, or they're ignoring what they do understand. Oh, let's have a wall. Let's not have a wall. They're flip-flopping like fish out of water because they can't have their way. You stick your thumb in your mouth, ball up in a corner, and cry. Because that's what it seems like you should be doing. You make me sick. I was willing to fight and die for this country. And then you people just want to abuse the freedoms that people died for. Died. Their lives ended for freedom. Freedom is not free. And the cost of your freedom was the lives of a lot of men and women. It wasn't a game. You people probably don't even know who Adolf Hitler was. You want to call everybody Hitler, but you probably don't even know who he was. I bet if I said Admiral Hirohito, you wouldn't know who he was either. Winston Churchill, any idea? You think he was the manager of the Mets back in the 40s? No. You don't know anything. The schools, they're dumbing you down so they can control you. The people in Washington, in your state offices, governors, making the rules of what books you're going to have for your schools. If it mentions anything bad or anything that we don't want them to know, they don't get it. You don't get to have that book. You get rainbows, unicorns, and socialism. And then we're going to take everything you have, if and when we can. I really hope I'm not alive when that happens. I really hope not. This is going to be hideous. You want to see what it's going to look like if this country turns socialist? Start looking at Venezuela. Start looking at pre-World War II Germany and World War II Germany. Look at Russia during the Cold War. Look at socialist countries. Look at North Korea. They're doing great, huh? Yeah, they keep their people in work camps. You want to do that? Don't be ignorant. Learn. Teach yourself. Get books. Go online. Learn. Learn about war. Learn about socialism. Learn about freedom. And stop abusing that right. That's all I've got for now. I ask that you pray for the leadership of this country, that God will keep them from all the hatred and evil that's being hurled at them constantly, that they will follow God closely to guide this country to safety, security, peace, prosperity, and unity, and that the people of this country will keep the freedoms afforded to us by our Constitution. Pray for the military, first responders, and such, that God will keep them safe and bring them home in one piece to their families and loved ones. And pray for those who are blind to God and love. That's all I've got for now. I thank you for watching. I'm William Ferguson, and this is Common Sense.